Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to share my September wrap up and October TBR. I have been very busy with going back to school full time, as I told you when I was doing my September TBR, and that is very reflective in what I actually read. So the first book that I read is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You That She's Sorry by Frederick Bachmann. According to my review, a lot of people assumed that I really enjoyed this book, but I actually didn't enjoy it as much as that review maybe came off. The fantastical element of the world that was within the world I didn't really like, but I really did love the main character and her grandmother and some of the other characters in the flat. Other than the characters and their quirks, the story just really didn't work for me. I liked the overarching, saying you're sorry, kind of meeting the characters and how all the characters are kind of interwoven. But as far as the writing, and this was a translated work, so I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. I really didn't care for this book, and I believe I rated it like a 2 or 3 stars. A lot of people do love this book, and they love his first book as well, so definitely check it out if you're interested. I will link my review down below and all of that. The second book that I read was by Karen Marie Moning, the second book in the Fever series, Blood Fever. I read the first book, Dark Fever, during Booktubeathon, and I really enjoyed it. And so I finally picked up the second one. This continues the story of Michaela and Jericho looking for this million-year-old book that contains the darkest magic that there possibly is. It's an urban fantasy. They're in Dublin, Ireland. And even though I don't get that sense, every time I know it's in Dublin, Ireland, but I'm like, is it really? But it's always raining there, and they're always running into fae and kind of like these weird fae-ish creatures and monsters. So I think it's really interesting. Oh, and vampires. So this is something very different than anything else I've ever read. I believe this is the first urban fantasy series that I am reading, so maybe that's why. But I'm really enjoying this. I gave it 4 stars. And I began This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This is going to be my first V.E. Schwab / Victoria Schwab book. I got this in my uppercase subscription box, and I'm glad that I did because I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 65% in. I have about 120-ish pages to go, but this is a world where monsters and humans live kind of amongst each other, and there's like a fight for power. The humans are in power. This one city has been divided into North and South, and the North and South kind of treat things very differently. And then the leaders of those have children, and the leader on one side has a human daughter named Kate, and then the leader from the other, who is human, has a monster son named August, and August really wants to be more human than monster, and Kate really fights to be more monster than human. So it's very interesting. It's kind of like the understanding of good and evil. There's 3 different monster types, and they all have their own, traits and abilities and things like that. But our main character, August, is so cool. His character is really developed in this, and I just can't wait to finish and see where it goes, and then pick up the other books in the series when they come out. So what do I plan to read in October? Hopefully this October I will read some really good thriller, Halloween-y, October vibed books, because in the past I have really failed on that. Of course, I'm going to finish This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab because I am really enjoying it. I only have 100 pages left. Then I was super excited when I received After the Woods by Kim Savage from the author herself. It's been a very long, there's a very long story that goes along with me actually finally having this book. I wrote a complete blog post about it, so I will link that in the description for you, but I highly recommend checking that out because just the story of how this came to be in my hands is amazing. I haven't hauled this book yet. I just received it a couple of days ago, but I did talk about it on Snapchat, on Twitter, on my blog, and I will be, doing another video about that coming soon. So the 2 books that I kind of picked to fit along with After the Woods, it's kind of like a thriller. 2 girls go in the woods, one gets kidnapped, the other one gets away, and kind of like the aftermath of all of that. So I'm really interested in that, and I just couldn't be happier. Thank you so much, Kim Savage, for sending that to me personally, one of your author copies. If you guys don't know, author copies are super rare. The reason why is because when an author writes a book, they only usually get like 20 copies of their book, and then any other copies that they need, you know, they have to purchase themselves. So you got to think all of their families and their friends and their publicists and their editor and all that, they want to hand out all these copies. But she actually sent me one of her author copies. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. So I'm really excited about that book. But moving on to my other two books that I have picked out are Gillian Flynn books, Sharp Objects and The Darkest Places. These are books that I picked up at my local book exchange store secondhand. When I unhaul books, I take them there and they give me basically store credit if they decide to buy the books. And then I bought these on 2 separate trips. But I'm glad to have both of these in my collection because Gillian Flynn has a really cool writing style where there's twists and turns and it's kind of demented, and she hasn't disappointed me yet. And these are the types of books that I like to read in October, and I'm so happy to have them so I can save them for October. Hopefully I won't be disappointed. I'm not connecting them to Gone Girl or The Grown Up or anything like that. These are 2 separate works on their own, but I love her writing style. I love the eerie vibe, the kind of twisted, figure it out, what's going on vibe. And yeah, so these are the 2 books along with After the Woods that I hope to get to in October. I do have a couple of other books on my shelves that I could pick out if I run out of things to read. I also didn't finish my September TBR, including The Vegetarian and Library of Souls, and I think there was like one other one maybe. I kind of forget right at the moment, but there are tons of books sitting on my shelves to read if I run out of things. But like I said, I have been very busy with going back to work full time. I also wanted to thank everybody that stuck around during Banned Books Week and watching all of those virtual readouts. That meant a lot to me that you guys took the time to watch those videos and just listen to my thoughts about them. But be sure to let me know what your favorite book was that you read in the month of September and what you're planning to read in October. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed. Hope you're having a lovely day. See you again next time. Bye!